I had just was asked that question. Rose, if you had D Wade or LeBron, who would you choose? I said, it's really not a hard question at all. I'm going with D Wade because if it wasn't a D Wade, LeBron would have never came to Miami. GQ deserve a little, you know what I mean? This a fat boy six pack. Whenever you see that, I'm cut. Big homie.
Ooh.
I know.
Boy, you looking good.
You know, much love, baby.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying?
What's the word, man? First time we met, it had to be a game vibe. You know what I mean? He probably was sitting floor seat, and you know, coming down to Miami, you know all the big names in the city. So for me, you know, when one of the legends, one of the you know, the greats in Miami showed up at the arena, you know, got to introduce yourself. So you know, it's just an introduction of just showing respect, you know. And I'm in the city, you know, showing respect to the greats. So it definitely probably was a game vibe.
I do remember meeting the big homie D Wade, and it most definitely was a game vibe. When the time came when I could afford floor seats, you know what I'm saying? Shit, D Wade had done brought our first ring to the city. I want to say that was 06.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the city was turned up. Every Damn Hustlin' was one of the biggest
Yes,
records
sir.
of the year.
Yes, sir.
You know
Locker room was lit on every day.
You know what I'm saying? When you talk about giving respect, the respect was due to the D, you know what I'm saying?
Big homie, you know Florida's it's a football state.
Right, right.
So when we come in, you got Hurricanes, early 2000s, you got the Dolphins, and we kind of had to make a name for ourselves as a basketball town.
Right.
When was the moment did you feel the shift going from football to where basketball took over?
You're most definitely right. Florida is a football state. Miami most definitely had the Dolphins on our back from day one. And it's always been legends. Don Shula, first NFL coach to win 300 games. Dan Marino, you know what that was.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we brought the heat into the city. And there was a lot of work that needed to be done. You know, we saw light at the end of the tunnel with, let's say, Sherman Douglas, you know, Tim Hardaway.
Right.
We saw, you know, but that statement wasn't made until it became Wade County, D Wade. That was the building, that was the foundation that all the other additions. I had just was asked that question. Rose, this might be a hard question. If you had D Wade or LeBron, who would you choose? I said, it's really not a hard question at all. I'm going with D Wade because if it wasn't a D Wade, LeBron would have never came to Miami. You understand what I'm saying? So once you came, we built the pieces around D Wade. Yep. That's when we got the rings.
Definitely.
Shout out to La Spolstra Nostra. You know what I'm saying?
Spolstra Nostra.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So
definitely.
You know, we salute the whole organization, and it's all love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember feeling the shift. You know what I mean? And it will forever be a football state.
Right,
and they deserve that.
Right.
But I remember feeling the shift. And I remember when people first started calling it Wade County. And to me, that's when it was like, oh, it's a responsibility for me now because I've been accepted. You know what I mean? Like, I've been accepted
to the fullest.
To the fullest.
Extent.
Like, Miami don't just give love like that.
No. I'm the first to tell you, the hate run thick in my city, but the hate is so thick where you gotta love it. You gotta respect it.
Right.
And we've never done that. We've never put somebody else's name on our city, not to mention somebody who not from Miami. City. So it had to let you know the love was genuine. Yeah. And that's for one, the level of class you exemplified on the court. You was a true leader and an example for the youngsters. That came first.
Definitely.
After that, you was a winner. Nothing else mattered after that.
Definitely.
We was like, that's Wade County.
I felt a responsibility to, like when they say put on for the city, like to really put on, and like once that Wade County became like, this is, like, we believe in you. You know what I mean? Like having a kid from inner city Chicago to have a whole state say, we believe in you. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like home.
Keys to the state.
So I had to bring a championship. We had to bring a championship to Miami. It was no other way. You know, if this was gonna be real, we had to do it.
And it still is. No disrespect to another athlete, D. Wade is still the biggest athlete in the face of Florida. And I'm pretty sure any one of them would respect that. We got big rings and big trophies to hold up.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? We did it. You know what I'm saying? Holding the trophies up, baby. That's what it boiled down to, holding the trophies up. We was winning, but not only did we have true champions and championship players and Hall of Fame players, but you know, these dudes was class acts. You know what I'm saying? When you think of D, you think of nothing but the highest regard, the highest respect, the highest class. You know what I mean? So he really did a lot for the city. Of course, when Bron joined his side, and you know, Bosch, we always got to salute the OGs. UD, you know, it's one of those things that was special. You know, the Ferraris, the Maybachs, they was on the strip. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of nights, those floor seats were sold out, baby. You know what I mean? So you just, wherever you got a ticket at, you had to finesse it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it was just, you know, we holding the trophies up, and we still are. Still Wade County for life.
Always.
You already know that's for life. You know what I'm saying? Got a question, big homie. Tell us, what was it like partying for the first time in the 305?
I get drafted, and after you get drafted, you got to go to Summer League. It was in Orlando. So we get done with Summer League, and we come back to Miami, and it's Zoe Summer Groove. Remember Zoe Summer Groove used to be
the vibe.
The vibe. So it's Zoe Summer Groove, and after the game, everybody go to Opium. So I'd never been, right? So I'm in the car with one of my good friends, later became my teammate, Quentin Richardson.
Right.
And the line is crazy even just to get in. So I'm talking about to get in close to the door with the car. So we hop out. We walk to the club, we get in, and I've never seen nothing like this in my life. Just Opium on Sunday in Miami. If you know anything about it, before Live, it was
before
Opium.
Live, yeah.
And just crazy.
Not Amnesia.
Shirt
Opium.
off, beater on, vibing. And I remember Q Rich saying to me, he said, this is going to be in your city every Sunday. Like, I never was a go out guy. And I just was like, yo, this is like, I'm just coming from Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a whole nother level in my mind.
A different vibe.
A different vibe. And that was Miami, just a different vibe. And it was just, and that was before the Miami Heat became Heatles.
You better believe it.
That was before that vibe.
That was before that vibe.
That was before the Heatles.
Right.
So think about how it was when Shaq came and we became the Heatles, and then when Brian and Chris came, we became the Heatles 2.0.
Next
it was
level,
off
2.5.
It was crazy. So when I first got there, like I would go to Overtown and I would see, you know, kind of a lot of abandonment in the downtown area. It was no life, it was no vibe down there. And then over the course of time, I started seeing the shift. You know what I'm saying? I started seeing them building new houses in Overtown. I started seeing them putting up condos downtown, and like the city around where the arena was, where the energy is, started becoming where people want to be and where they wanted to go. And I know you've seen it when it was at the bottom.
Right. You know, I seen it at the very beginning when they first built the very first Miami arena.
Yeah.
Right on the borderline of Overtown. And I believe that was the first attempt at, you know, us establishing a real NBA team, but that Overtown was way too real. So, you know, they had to approach it, AAA. But more importantly, I feel like once the city and everyone else recognized the value of, you know, our team, it wasn't just about us having a basketball team, but this was a real brand. This became the face of the city. Once people realized that, a lot more people began to invest into the vision. Mm-hmm. And that's when you see Wynwood turn around from the same neighborhood where you could buy the whole neighborhood maybe for $750K 4 years later, that same strip, $10 million now.
Rent went up.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, Wynwood, Overtown, everything has changed.
Yeah.
Everything has changed, and to me it's a plus because people see the vision. They see the true value in the city, and we see what can happen over a decade. So anybody that, got some titles in Miami, hold on to it. Hold on to it.
Hold on to it.
Hold on to it, baby.
Look, them feet, look at them feet though.
Nah, them things.
Look at them feet though.
Nah, them things special right there.
Don't turn up. All sneaker blogs. I feel sorry for you, baby.
Oh, man.
I feel sorry for you. Look at that right there. Look at that platform. Look at that stand.
You feel me?
Look at that grip in the building.
So as an athlete, obviously, I've been called out before from other athletes, from people who are not even athletes. As an artist, how do you deal with, how do you respond when someone's calling you out?
The sports that we both play, we both are Hall of Famers in. And I think whenever you do challenge or get challenged, because every night it's a new challenge.
Right.
And you wouldn't make it to this level if you wasn't capable of challenging, So I expect to be challenged by either somebody that's, I feel, not qualified, because most of the time they not.
Trying to make a name for themselves.
Right, and that's cool too. But I'm also going to find a way to humiliate you and also, get the win. And so hip hop is just like any other high level sport. You get challenged, you step up to the plate. You go get the rings, get the trophies, we get the big contracts, we sell the most merchandise, we get the nicest haircuts. It's really easy. When it comes to hip hop, let's show the stats. Who really winning? Anybody can have an opinion, and that's cool. Because if I told them my opinion of their opinion, they wouldn't even be on TV. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's just the way I approach it. So let's say if another dude on another team, no rings, no stats, no style. And I know when you get off the bus walking into the arena, that fashion, that red carpet vibe, that's big. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, and if they can't dress, how do you deal with it? How you deal with it? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, first of all, I look at it like this, right? I once was that guy that needed to make a name for myself, right? So I've had guys that I've had on my wall, and eventually I needed to surpass those guys, or I needed those guys to look me eye to eye and know I was there in the building. Now, I went by it a different way, but generations change and people decide to say different things when it goes to the media or, and I've always decided between these 94 feet, that's where we handle all that. You know what I mean? And I don't play a one-on-one sport. So someone saying they better than me, that doesn't do anything unless we getting out there playing one-on-one. I play a team sport. So my goal is to win championships. My goal is to become a winner. So anybody ever say, oh, I'm better than D-Wade? You may be more talented than me in certain areas, but you're not better than me overall because I know how to play the game. I know how to be the number one option. I know how to be the number 3 option. You know what I mean? Like, I know how to do all this. So for me, it wasn't ever about, oh, you can beat me in one-on-one. It was more so like, can you be better than what I came into a 25-win team. Can you take a 25-win team to a championship in 3 years?
Damn.
Can you do that?
25 wins.
25 wins when I got drafted. Can you do that? Like, for me, it's never about I tell my son this today, it's a lot of players that's been in this NBA that I've seen come and go that was way more talented than your dad. But it was something I had they didn't have. You know what I mean? Whether it's heart, whether it's mental toughness, you know what I mean? Whether it's just opportunity, or whether it's just the God-given talent or the creativity that God gave me, you know what I'm saying? So I don't really worry about it. Like, I respond every now and again to somebody, but ultimately, it's only going to be one Dwyane Wade. I don't care if you're better than me or not. There's only one me, and I'm going to make sure that my imprint on my shoes is so big.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you see how?
Yeah.
You see how it went down?
Yeah.
The shoes are so big that they can't feel them. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just about I'm one-on-one, I'm better than him. That doesn't matter. It's about, like I said, sustainability.
So
how long you gonna be better? How long can you keep this up? Because I can keep going. You know what I mean? Until I'm ready to bow out gracefully. So that's kind of how I look.
That's that level of class, and that's how you've always dealt with it.
So I got a question for you, Ross. All right. So, understanding when you have success in your life, and when you coming from nothing to something, it's easy to find that drive and find that hunger. But when you become a legend, when you become a Hall of Fame status, what inspires you? What inspires you to continue to put out hits and classic hits and keep going?
The true inspiration, me being creative, I find ways to draw it from different things. First and foremost, understanding my true purpose and me coming here, me wanting to be here. I wanted to make some of the best music ever. So ultimately, the core is making the records, making the music. It's just like when I bought that first Eric B. and Rakim vinyl and I saw them with the Dapper Dan Gucci suits, I was like, yo, you make the music, you get the gear, you know what I'm saying? And you can see how I'm dressed today as a true reflection from that. And so it ultimately came down to the music and me loving to make music and anything else that came with that. Of course, that was cool, I loved that.
Right.
But I wanted to keep making records. So after I made some of the biggest records, biggest collaborations, I still have that passion for more. I didn't feel like, yo, I'm good. I got a new whip, I'm straight. Nah, the fire that burns is much more enticing than anything else. Mm-hmm. So that's what really keep me going right now to this day.
What was that collab or that first hit that you made that made you say, I'm here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what was that?
Every Damn Hustling, without a doubt. You know, I had been, making records, running in throughout the streets, doing everything for over 10 years, never made a penny. And once again, that was the fire that just kept me going. And of course I said, yo, I ain't doing this another year. Like, yo, I done wrote records from people, they take off. And I'm sitting here, what they think Rose is, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, but that 06, Every Damn Hustling, when that took off, just the look I got from fans, these the same crowds that for years I would go, it's like it was go get a drink when Fat Boy on stage vibe, you know what I'm saying? But just that look from when I released that Every Damn Hustling, it was like, yo.
It was different.
Yeah, it's like I went to the finals. I know what it felt like.
Right.
My confidence through the roof now. I know I could do it.
Right.
Let's keep going.
Do you think we'll ever get the song with the two of you on it?
Of course.
It's coming out.
Of course. It's a dope record and we're gonna surprise everybody. I'm just so meticulous with the way I want the whole movie to come together. It's almost like a scene. I feel like a record is almost like a scene. And as you watching the film, if the scene not right, it'll just throw off you won't be able to appreciate the value of the scene or the rest of the movie. But when it's there, I do it all the time.
So, big homie.
Right.
You've seen me in the studio.
I've seen you in the studio.
Would you say that you are a better hooper than I am rapper? Now, take time and think about it. Because I've seen you hoop before, so take time and think about this.
Hey, that's an easy question.
Okay.
That's an easy question. I've taken D. Wade into the studio before. As a matter of fact, we got a record we got on ice. We got a record we got on ice. Now, if the question is, who am I better basketball player or is D. Wade a better rapper? Without a doubt, I'm a better basketball player.
So, being so well known, being so wealthy as you are, What's your hobbies? Like, what do you do to kind of get away from being Rose?
Well, you know, just keeping the circle, my family, you know, spending time around the house, the little ones running around,
Yeah.
mama on speaker, you know, that's really my best downtime I could have. You know, I'm fortunate when we travel, we get to see the world. So me going to perform somewhere, I'm traveling, I'm seeing, I know how to embrace even when I'm working, I love that. But it's nothing like when I just get to sit around, eat that home cooked food, you know, and just have my little ones running around. Walking barefoot, you know, when your feet get dirty. Walking around the house till you just barefoot, you know, and you just sit back, shorts on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just that vibe, you know what I'm saying? To me, that's really as good as it gets. I understand being an iconic athlete, but most importantly, being a father. What does fatherhood mean to you?
So the toughest lesson I had to learn about fatherhood is that you ain't always gonna have the right answers, and sometimes you gotta fake it. Like, I think for me, like, I got custody of my kids when, let's see, Zaire was 8 years old. He's 17, so it's been 9 years since I got custody of my boys, and I always said that the lesson I learned from them is that I learned from them. Like, I learned how to parent my kids by their actions, by their emotions, about who they are. Like, me not putting my expectations or my dreams, my hopes on my kids, because I know where I grew up and how I grew up, that's what it was. Like, my dad wanted to be an NBA player, so his son, you gonna be an NBA player, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, but for me, I took a different approach, and I started to start learning my kids and start parenting them as I seen them grow, as I seen them do something, because we was learning this together. There was no guide, it was no handbook to say, D, this is how you parent your kids, because you can't all parent them same. It's like being on a basketball team and being a leader. You can't lead everybody the same.
Right.
So I think that was probably the biggest lesson I learned, is that Zaire and Zion are two totally different people. How do I reach both of them? And it was reaching them by listening to them and understanding who they wanted to be and who they are.
That's dope. Those powerful words. And I think for me, my biggest lesson that I learned from my children, and beginning with my oldest daughter, who she's 17 now, is I feel like beginning with her, they taught me balance. You know, me being in the position I am, I've always had to sacrifice everything. So me being a boss, me being demanding, that come with the role I play. Yo, I got the vision. Yo, I got 20 people back here, you know, and I'm gonna say it in such a way, but, you know, dealing with my daughter, she the one who taught me, yo, I gotta talk with a different tone. I gotta also give her the opportunity to choose her own destiny. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And not just, yo, you gonna be a news anchor. I want you to be a pretty news anchor with the long hair, and you gonna work that 6 a.m. shift. You know, that's who taught me the balance, the respect, and, you know, me giving her her own space to also grow into the woman she wanna become. You know, so that was something that I had to learn. Couldn't nobody else teach me that.
100. That's real. You got one of the most iconic voices, first of all, in the world. People hear you talk, they like, that's Ross, right? So being so iconic as you are, how do you deal with something as simple as dating?
10 albums in, have I become better at dating and dealing with women and living a single life? And of course I've gotten worse, of course.
Worse?
Worse, of course. But I've most definitely gotten worse. And hopefully one day I may see the light at the end of the tunnel. But until then, I'm gonna just enjoy that ride, you know?
Yeah, enjoy it.
I'm gonna enjoy that roller coaster, you know? And it's, you know, I'm gonna enjoy that, you know what I'm saying?
I think for me, man, like, I went from, in college, we got $210 a month.
Damn.
I went from $210 a month to signing a $10 million contract.
Woo! Woo!
You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, the dumbest stuff I would do is if I had a black Mercedes S55, I'm gonna go buy a white one just because I could.
That wasn't bad. That wasn't.
But I'm just saying, but I had a lot of those. So
I'm with you though.
But now at 37, that's dumb.
No.
At 37 for me.
I'ma still. You know why?
I'm
Because
not doing that.
the reason I gotta say it is because it's inspiring.
You need both. You need the same car, different colors.
It's inspiring.
Well, that's
inspiration.
You listen to rap music like I did, and you do things like
that's
that. You see that?
Inspiration.
Look, now he about to get me to go out and buy.
No. Just one question. How many hours was your average practice day?
Well, who was the coach? Pat Riley or? Let's say, practice. Let's say when I first got in the league, say practice itself was 3 hours, workout in the weight room.
No, that's the easy. What about college or high school? What was the toughest point of training your body in college?
College, you do workouts in the middle of the day, then you gotta go to class, and you come back, you got 3-4 hour practice. Then you gotta try to find a little time for study hall, then do it all over again. So
your average
and that's without
day,
extra work. That's
so your average day.
Your average day, you probably spend 6 hours of training.
Pushing your body.
Probably 6 hours in college, and that's with school. That's what having a kid. You know what I'm saying? So you got to fit all that in.
You're a father. You're a student.
Yeah.
A parent.
Yeah.
A student.
Yeah.
An athlete. A teammate.
Yeah.
Friend.
That's without spending time with your teammates. You know what I'm saying? That's all this thing. So you spend 3 to 4 hours in the gym on court. Then you spend an hour plus in the weight room. Then you spend an hour on individual workout. And then you may have to come back later and get some shots up later at night. So it was plenty of nights. Zaire was sitting right there on the baseline in his little car seat. And I'll just be over there, 3, 2, 1. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to fit it in.
And as I picture all of that, you deserve the black S55 and the white one S55. Period.
See, the problem is I had too many of those, the black and white Range Rovers, the Maybachs that ain't moving because I ain't driving them. You know what I mean? I had too many of those, Ross.
That inspiration, man. It's inspirational. I swear, when I pull up to my crib, I'm inspired. So it's like, yo, what we got to do? I mean, since maybe July 4th, I haven't had a full 24 hours to myself since July 4th. But guess what? It's all worth it because it's bigger than me. I get to share this with the team. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was. Of course, you was the one going to get these Benzes, but it was for the movement, the team, the squad. I see you. You keep a loyal team around you. You know what I'm saying? And that's, we most definitely got to keep the investments the priority. But I think that longevity do come from the fact of we get so much out of it that we do love, we do appreciate. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to get me another bottle of the wine. What's the name of your wine?
Wade wine.
That Wade wine, and what's the pizza spot, 800 degrees?
100.
That's what it's about. Just getting to that point and being able to enjoy those things, try those things, and it's dope to me.
So, when them cameras on, when you step off the bus,
right?
That's, as an athlete, that's our runway. That's our red carpet.
That red carpet,
right?
Matt Gala.
And you know me, I've stepped out plenty of times with the red carpet look.
Right.
But has it ever been a time you seen and you was watching, you was like, oh no, big homie, don't do that?
Of course. And if anybody told you anything else, they'd be lying. Of course. That's D. So you gotta understand, I can only try to imagine and put my mind frame. Many times I see the homie get off you got to first thing and foremost, yo, this is a 500 millionaire. The stylists, the designers, the phone calls, you know, and I said, yo, because he'll blow your mind away with the shoes and then with the you know, with the wristwear and how simple D know how to keep it. You know, he keep it so simple, it reminds you, this is a 500 millionaire. And so, you know.
I wish.
Yeah. And so he has stepped off before with those headphones on, that bag on the side with them things folded up. You know, just them different vibes. And I'd be like, yo, what's this now? What's this? What them is right there? Hold on, blow that up. Oh, I don't know what them is. That's so different, right?
I don't know what them is.
I don't know what them is. But you got to remember, like I say, yo, the game's so fast. And to me, that's what made NBA even that much more popular in the last few seasons. Is because it's all coming together. Basketball players are not, you know, growing up when you seen b-ball players, they was the tall, slinky, linky, you know, the ones that walk in the house and had the duck or hit the, you know, it's like it's the generation, it's different now. Basketball different now. These dudes is, you know, making music as well, just as fly as well, dressing, you know, and that, you know, the artists, the stylists, the fashionists, the designers are respecting that. So, you know, it's just the new game. It's just the next level.
As somebody who's, you know me, you know I'm into the business world, and I look at you and all you've done, how have you aligned yourself with these brands that, like what made you align yourself with Wingstop, Checkers, and what's your vision when you think about Rick Ross, the businessman?
Right. First and foremost, it got to be something that I love. So when I thought about Wingstop, it was my favorite spot. The one right off County Line Road, 441. I stopped by my barber, stopped by Wingstop. It became a routine.
Right.
And so once I got in position where I could have chose any franchise, any chicken franchise I wanted to rock with, I wanted to do it with the best. It wasn't about, you know, the money. I just wanted to do it with the best. Because as long as it's something I love, I don't even feel like it's work. Mm-hmm. It's not a job. It's not stressful to me. Mm-hmm. So I made that the rule for me to follow when it come to any brands I align myself with. If I genuinely love it, it's not even work. So that went with the Checkers on 27th Avenue and 183rd Street. That's the one I grew up on. That was the first one I purchased. Me going to the club every night, I gotta enjoy myself. So what am I gonna drink? I love rosé. So I wanted to, you know, become a brand ambassador for Luke Belaire, my favorite rosé. Mm-hmm. And it's just like me having the opportunity to do the brand with, of course, D-Wade, Wade. Look at those damn sneakers. You know what I'm saying? It boils down to, if I love it, let's do it. This isn't business. This for the love. This for the sport.
Right.
So check. I just need to know from you, what's the best basketball movie of all time? And let's say both our answers at the same time.
1,
I'm gonna mess it up.
2, 3.
Blue Chips.
White Man Can't Jump.
Told you I was gonna mess it up.
It's by far.
I couldn't think of none.
And if you never seen White Man Can't Jump, make sure y'all go to the part where Raymond was on the basketball court and he told him, matter of fact, all y'all stay right here.
Yeah.
I'm finna go to the car and get my other pistol. I'm gonna shoot all y'all niggas. That's the, yo.
No, this ain't Raymond.
No, yo, that dude, hey, everybody took a bah. Man, that shit was so
Raymond
funny.
went in there.
Yo.
He was like, no, this ain't Raymond.
Yeah.
Went in there trying to single goal.
Get it to me.
Raymond,
Man.
that's you. No, this ain't Raymond.
Yo, that shit was so funny.
Yeah, so, yeah. What he said.
Yeah.
I couldn't think. It's so many great basketball movies, man. So, but that definitely is a classic.
Nah, that was classic.
I mean, He Got Game.
He Got Game was dope.
He Got
too.
Game is a classic. All right, y'all, look, for the record, all right, I couldn't think. So it's definitely not Blue Chips, even though Blue Chips is in the top 5, maybe top 10 somewhere.
Maybe top 10.
I'm gonna go with the big homie. I got a tie though. It's White Man Can't Jump, and He Got Game.
I know you understand the size of the platform that you on and how many people you influence. And I see the decisions you make and the choices you make. But why is it so important, just for those watching, to address so many social issues?
Once I got to that place, and the place that really got me to speaking out on issues was Trayvon Martin. When the Trayvon Martin, I'm going all the way back. When that incident happened with Trayvon Martin, being a young black man myself and having kids that look like, talk like, walk like Trayvon Martin, like that right there, it hit a chord in not only me, my teammates at the time, and we decided to stand out. We decided to do that flick with our hoodies, being the biggest team in the world, being from the state of Trayvon Martin, being his favorite team. We took it on our shoulders as a responsibility to let our voices be heard. We didn't want this just to be washed away and be another black kid dying that no one cared about. So at that moment for me, it became about speaking out on things that I was passionate about and things that my community didn't have the voice or the platform like me to speak on. Because there's a lot of things that go on in our communities that it's things that we don't go through. But people in the city, they go through it. And they need one of us to be the ones to speak out on it. They need one of us to get behind and show how important this is, not only to them, but for our entire race. So for me, it became more so, this is what I believe in. So if I believe in it, and if you don't support me, then I don't need to be messed with you anyway. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to speak out on this. And the cool thing for me, I had all my brands, all my partners, they all supported me. And I wasn't worried that they didn't, but it was cool to see that, hey, what can we do to help your voice be even louder? And that even gave me more power and more of a voice to speak out. So,
it meant a lot, too.
Yeah.
It most definitely meant a lot.
You put Stokely Carmichael on a record, and it was big. Why? Why do it?
Because, knowledge, understanding our history. In the same way somebody could sit down and Google, stream Rick Ross music, you could also Google Stokely Carmichael, Google some of the other legends. A lot of, just knowledge. That's where the real wealth come from. Mm-hmm. That's where the longevity come from. And that's just something I try to sprinkle within my records, within my music. And I think what I love the most about my music is I accept my flaws, my mistakes I make. The doors that's been slammed in my face. To me, that's what brings and keeps my music, because that's what you up against, just in life. So anytime I have some time alone, just like on the way here, we was Googling different things, YouTube, just different points of views and just different game. And I feel we gotta apply that. Big homie, this a big question, this a boss question. As a player, as well as entrepreneur, what was one thing you wish you could take back, or one thing you consider to be one of the biggest mistakes you could have ever made?
That's a tough question for me, because it's no mistakes. I live by that creed that everything happens for a reason. So everything bad that happened to me strengthened me and made me wiser You know, like even just from my upbringing of not having my mom being on drugs and my dad being an alcoholic or whatever the case may be, it gave me the vision to want to do different and want to be greater. So, and no mistakes. The lawsuits that I've had, the divorces I've had, all those things is a part of the person that's sitting in front of me.
Led to this destiny.
You know what I'm saying? Like, without those things, I wouldn't be who I am at all today. I needed all those things to strengthen me, to make me wiser and make me grow up at times too. You know what I'm saying? So, no mistakes.
Great way to look at it.
What's your biggest mistake?
With me, it's missing a lot of loved ones that I lost on the way. You know? That's what it boiled down with me. Other than that, it ain't really nothing that I could charge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My father, I wish he would have been able to see some of this, you know?
Yeah.
Other than that, man, it is what it is. I've been hustling. I can't stop.
You've been hustling.
We can't stop, bro. That's
That's
like
okay.
getting those rings, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When you got it, you got to keep going.
So, you know, me being a boss, it's something that we all being bosses look forward to. That big day, which is retirement. And I know it may be a little, you know, immature, it's a little early. You just getting to travel. I'm watching you on IG. I'm seeing you. I see how you move, and it's most definitely inspiring. But, you know, in the early stages of retirement, what's one of the best feelings of it?
Well, to be able to retire from my sport, to be able to walk away and feel complete. It's a lot of guys, you can hear them even talk today. They didn't accomplish everything they wanted to accomplish. And I was able to walk away from the game and say, man, I've given y'all everything I've wanted to give to this game. And I feel complete. I don't feel like I left nobody behind. I'm not looking like this. Like, I may post some stuff on my social, but that's just because my fans want to see it. And that's just engaging.
I want to see it.
Right?
That's
just
the game.
Moments.
Yeah.
But I don't look back like, man, I miss it, because I gave everything I needed to give today. You know what I mean? So when people talk to me about retirement, I retired from my sport, but I'm not retired. I got 9 other jobs. My wife was like, I thought you retired. I ain't been home. I got to come home, see my daughter, kiss my wife, and I got to go back because I got businesses. I got things I'm a part of. But from my sport, just completion, man. I felt complete. I felt appreciated. You know, from the love I got the last year, appreciated from my body of work, you know, all around the league, from the players, from the fans, commissioner. Like, that was just dope. And now I forge forward on the next phase. So I didn't feel like I left nothing behind.
You haven't. You really haven't.
You know, other rappers have retired on and off.
Right.
Have you thought about retiring?
I haven't. And that's just because I feel like not only there's more to say, but I may have an even better way of doing something else. Once I quench that thirst, that's when I may sit back and put all line my rings up like you did. You got them in a glass.
Not right now. I'm moving, so.
When the last time you won?
At the end of the season, I did a photo shoot. It was actually the first time I wore them since I got them all. I've never worn all 3 of them together.
Oh, you got to.
So I did a photo
Just
shoot.
for Rose.
Hey, we did a shoot, and I had them all on.
You know what I'm saying?
I was repping.
You know what I'm saying? But I haven't, just because I feel like, you know, that fire still burn. But, you know, the day I do feel that, the world will know. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. You know, like, for me, like, my last year when I knew for real was like, I was like, yeah, this retirement was a good idea. We was playing against a team, and they was running so fast. Like, these young dudes, 18, 19, they was running so fast, bro. And I was like, I can't keep up with these young boys no more. Have you got to a point where you feel like where the music is going, like, I can't keep up with these young boys and like go where they at? Like, have you had those emotions and those thoughts?
I feel if that would have been my approach, that possibly could have been the way I felt. But I always felt my style, you know, my luxurious way of choosing the beats I rap on, it's what made me unique in some form or fashion. So even as I grow older, I feel it's still unique, you know, and classy in its own way. And that's why I made sure the collaborations and the features I had on the album were features that complemented what I did and brought to the game, not me trying to ride a new youngster's wave.
Respect.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because when you see the youngsters, the little babies and the babies, it's easy to say, yo, this Rose, it's real easy. But that's not what I wanted to do, you know?
Respect. When you watch somebody's career, 06, I remember it was like it was yesterday. Obviously, that's when Ross first went mainstream, like real mainstream, and that's when I first got my first championship. And we sit here today, this is 2019, and as we talked about, it's that sustainability. And to be able to see somebody reinvent themselves, you know what I'm saying? Like, my homie sitting here a couple years ago, we'd have needed a bigger chair.
Yeah.
My homie sitting here, he lost weight, he's slim. We wearing the same size clothes.
I wish.
But just like reinventing and going through from 06 to even 19 and how you've had to reinvent yourself, and not even saying like you had to change your music of who you are, but just reinventing yourself and understanding. And that's the same thing with me. So when you see somebody that you respect, and especially in the same city, you see them doing that, it's easy for you to understand, to have success, I gotta reinvent myself. And that's what I did time and time again. To be here today where people even still know my name, I've had to reinvent myself through injuries, through LeBron coming, Shaq coming, through whatever. And I see the same thing with Ross when it comes to music, and still being here today when there's been so many that's come along the way, and to still be #1 selling album. It's crazy.
That's huge, and it mean a lot coming from you. And for me to switch that around, and what I learned from you coming in the game in 06, it being 19 now, is understanding how to sustain and maintain your brand. Because when I look at D Wade, like I told you, he wasn't just a player. Miami Heat became the face of the city. It wasn't just about Dwyane Wade. This was Wade County. You know, and for Miami to chant that meant a lot. And just like he said, after other iconic players joined the team, after injuries, it's still Wade County right now. And it's not going nowhere. So me taking that from D Wade is understanding how to maintain and sustain your brand on the next level.
You got a lot of nicknames, by the way.
Right.
Big Boy,
Yeah,
Rose, Ross.
Fat Boy.
Fat Boy. So when it's all said and done, and Rose, Fat Boy, Ross, father, son, all these things is put up in the rafters. What do you want people to say about you? What do you want the conversation to be when all that's in the rafters?
The biggest. I said, Rose, that's just my passion, just to be the biggest. And that's just, regardless of where I fall, that's just what I want to make sure, you know, they feel coming from me. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down. Straight up and down. My last question to D should be a pretty good question. You being a 500 millionaire. Let's say the opportunity presented itself and we had the opportunity to buy us an NFL team. Is that something we move forward on or don't.
I move forward on it.
I'm glad.
I move forward on it.
I'm glad.
100%.
Because I damn sure would have did, and I ain't want to have to finance everything without you.
And listen,
But I
and
damn sure Rose
and that's
would've.
exactly why I move forward on it, right? I go in with, hey, if I'm gonna do this, I need this open up for others. I don't want to be the only one at the table. I never want to be the only one eating well. I want other people at the table so I can have great conversations with everybody and everybody doing well. So for me, if that opportunity ever presents itself, I will do it, but I need the ability to be able to bring some others with me. So once we get in there, whatever change and whatever we've been talking about, we can do it together. We can create this. We're stronger in numbers than we are by ourselves. So that's the only way I would do it, but I would love to.
I could see these in cleats now.
Oh, I got them in cleats already.
Cleats?
Yeah, I got some cleats. I got some football cleats already. You know, I got golf shoes because I'm a golfer. I'm not a golfer, I just golf. I got my own golf shoes though. Yeah, listen.
Yo, man, you know what? I might have to go golfing with you one day, but only under one condition. She's gotta be a beautiful caddy. Appreciate y'all tuning in today. This ain't GQ no more, this Wade County.
Matter of fact, we just gonna, this for Miami. This right here, this for the 305, this for Miami right here.
305, baby.
Y'all know what it is.
Right here.